so just to start with a show of hands, who of you here are Dutch, actually? Alright. Actually, I expected there to be more Dutch people here. I mean, after all, it's a free show, right? But, yeah, I can say that because I am Dutch myself. I am also quite tall, which is why I enjoy going to the supermarket and asking short people to hand me stuff from the bottom shelf. That's how I keep myself busy. The only problem is that now I have way too many Euroshopper products in my apartment, but that's a small price to pay. Oh yeah, I'm also single, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, how is it possible that I'm listening to this pathetic loser whining about his ex-girlfriend? That's not why I paid nothing. But, yeah, you came to see comedy, of course. I mentioned it, though, because I think those two things are, there's a correlation. The fact that I do stand-up and that I don't have a girlfriend anymore. A couple of weeks ago, she and I were sitting together, and she said, Jeroen, why is it that you always keep a little notebook around? And I explained to her, well, it's because I've been doing stand-up comedy now, and I like to write down ideas the moment they pop into my head, so I don't forget them. And she got all scared, and she said, oh no, does that mean that you're going to write down things that I say and use them as material in your show? And I had to comfort her. I said, no, baby, of course not. Don't worry. I mean, I would never do that. You're not that funny. And luckily she seemed to understand, but still we broke up. Friends are trying to convince me though that we should get back together. So you have to get back together with her, even if it's just for the makeup sex. Because makeup sex is the best sex in the world. And I said, no, I don't think so. I mean, I make up plenty of sex on my own. It's not that great, so... No, they said, they explained to me, they said, no, makeup sex is when you just had a big fight, and then you make up, and you hug, and you kiss, and then you have sex, and then it's just spectacular. It's always spectacular makeup sex. And still I didn't agree, because a couple of weeks ago, I had a fight with my bicycle repairman, and it wasn't tender or satisfying. Anyway, I didn't plan on talking about sex that much, but since you brought it up, I feel like I can share a little problem with you. I have a sexual problem, and it's called premature ejaculation. Here's some giggles of recognition. It's when you finish too soon, when you have your orgasm too soon. That's premature ejaculation, and with me it's really bad. Usually I come so soon, I haven't even turned on my computer. That's how bad it is. Yeah. It's awful. But in spite of all that, I still had a pretty good summer. I traveled around Asia. Visited some countries there, it was amazing. And people always say, yeah, I think Asians, they just all look alike. Asian people, they look all the same. And that's just not true. I mean, my ex-girlfriend is from Japan, or Korea or something. For me, that's just a preposterous cliche. Also, I went to Lowlands, as you can see. I don't know, are there any people here who went to Lowlands as well? Not that well. Yeah, alright.
How was it?
Yeah, I don't know if you know what Lowlands is. It's a huge festival. It was last weekend. A lot of bands, lots of theater and stuff. More than 55,000 people go there. They camp outside the festival terrain, and then they go party all weekend long. So there were lots of people there, but maybe you know that actually it didn't feel that crowded this year, and that's because I had a spare ticket, but I decided not to sell it because I felt like I could use some extra room. So you're welcome. So that was a pretty good weekend. What else did I want to talk about? I'm just gonna look on my notes. Yeah. All right. I did a stand-up course actually this summer as well. It was a lot of fun, and I did a stand-up course. I did one in English. Are there any English people, British people?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, over there. All right. Now I learned a couple of important lessons about doing stand-up in English. And one of the things was that there are, even though you're very foul-mouthed, as we just learned, there are some words which are just too offensive, even for English people. And they are referred to with euphemisms, because you know they're so offensive you can't say them really. You know, like the cunt word. Because it's so harsh, you can't say the cunt word, it's so offensive. So that was an important tip. And something else we learned was a way to transition from one joke to the next. A technique for that, it's called a segue, and it's basically something you say in between jokes. So the audience knows that there's been a talk exchange. It's really handy. It's called a segue. So I did some research, and I found out that a segue is actually a very powerful technique, and you should be careful when you use it. Because there was this guy in the States who obviously was not a trained comedian. What he did was he was trying to use a segue, and he got hit by a truck. Yeah, he's dead now because he tried, to transition from one joke to another. Yeah, that's horrible. So you better show some respect for all the, comedians who risk their lives on the stage. Yeah. Actually, I want to leave you with a tip. Because I've been traveling around Asia, I've really taken an interest in Asian cooking. I really love that. And I like cooking myself, so what I did was I went out and I bought a lot of ingredients to make a really nice Thai meal. I got all the ingredients, got all the really spicy peppers, because Thai food is always very spicy. And I was making this meal. I was cutting the peppers with my knife. Everything was covered in them, these really nasty little, spicy little seeds. The countertop, my knife, my hands, everything was covered in peppers. And of course, I made the classic mistake. After I was done chopping the peppers, I just jammed that knife right into my eye. And it burned like crazy. It was horrible. So, word of advice, if you ever, decide to cook a Thai meal, make sure you wipe the knife before you put it into your eyeball. Thank you.